here, so there's a room in the studios.
Hey Rushville, it's Nick Waller here. I'm a sophomore here at RCHS, and with me is Mayor Mike Pavey and Brian Sheehan, and we're going to do a little community chat about what's going on in Rushville. So, Brian, Mayor Pavey, what's going on in downtown Rushville?
Downtown Rushville, well, we have a number of projects that are kind of heating up, but ones that we hear a lot about are the Farmers Market and the Princess Theater. And if you don't mind, I'll jump into Farmers Market. Is something that we had been working on for a while. We want to do something downtown that honored our local agricultural heritage. And so that area, there were five goals that we had in mind. And when I say it, I'm always hoping I can come up with all five. But the first and foremost was to fill a gap in our downtown. There had been 2 buildings torn down. As we said, we wanted to put the teeth back in, the missing teeth. So that was goal number 1. Goal number 2 was to be able to have more parking. There are 27 parking spaces that can be used. I've had people ask, can we use the parking? Absolutely. So that was the second thing. We wanted restrooms for downtown events. So we have restrooms and storage. Obviously, with it being named Farmers Market, that kind of brands the area. But we host a Farmers Market every Saturday morning from, I think, May through October. And then lastly, something that we hope to utilize for the community and maybe even for the high school is to be able to do events in that area, kind of like a 3-walled area that you could do dances or music or whatever, something down there to be a community meeting space. So that's a little bit about the Farmers Market. I'll let the mayor tell you a little bit about the Princess Theater.
Yeah, the Princess Theater is under construction right now. There's really 2 phases to the project. The first one is the ADA portion, and that allows us to get all those components that would need to be in place for somebody with Americans with disabilities to be able to use it. So that includes like your open automatic opening front doors, your elevators, and your restrooms. So the first piece of the project is to go in there and get those things in place. Then as soon as that's done, and that'll be the end of November, December somewhere, then the next phase will come in, and that will be the actual remainder of construction of the project. So, and that will include the theater space, the Ivy Tech portion, and City Hall will move from its current location to the 2nd floor of that building.
Okay.
Mike mentioned too, the Wolf Theater, the folks from Greensburg are partnering with us. So the cool thing is, for those that don't remember having a theater, you used to see one movie for like a week or 2. With Wolf and technology, we'll be able to see different movies throughout the week. So something different at 6 and 8 at 10. So I think for entertainment-wise, it'll be a nice boost for local youth.
That's really awesome. I've heard a lot of people excited about both of those constructions going on down in downtown Indy or in Rushville. So another topic we want to talk about is the new paving we have in the roads down in Rushville.
We'll let Pavey take that one.
Yeah. We went after a grant last year. It's a new grant. It's called Community Crossing. It is one that's funded through new legislation, and I think it's guaranteed for maybe 4 years. But we took advantage of it in the first year, and we put in $700,000. The state of Indiana awarded us $700,000, so we did roughly $1.4 million in paving in a 1-year time span, and on average, we do probably somewhere between $70,000 and $100,000 per year. So you can do the math on that. It basically equates to the city of Rushville doing somewhere between 14 and 20 years worth of paving in 1 year. We did put in for the 2018 round, we put in 5 projects and were awarded 1. And a lot of people were probably more upset than we were of that, but the reality is it was probably the right thing for us, and so next year you'll see 1 project go on, and then we'll start planning for the next year. So it was a huge boost to the infrastructure of our community, and we're extremely excited about what we've been able to get accomplished in 1 year.
Yeah, that's extremely exciting. Another thing I have to talk about is the Stellar. What's going on with Stellar?
Stellar, for those who well, it's last year, so hopefully people aren't young enough they don't remember it at all, but that was a competition with the state where we had we presented our community and our projects, and we were awarded a Stellar designation. That basically means we'll have $18 million worth of projects in our downtown area. of which the city, our portion for that was about 3.9 million as far as a match. So for every quarter we spend, we get 75 cents in return. Some of the biggest projects that people will see that'll be taking place here in the near future. Are you familiar with the Durban Hotel, the old building downtown, big gray building?
I'm not.
Not, but you drive by it, I'm sure, a lot. But it's a big building that's really had nothing in it for quite some time. That's going to be new apartments. The old Boys and Girls Club, which is something else you probably aren't aware of what that is. It is across the street. They're both on Morgan Street, down by the mayor's office, close to Riverside.
Yeah.
There's also improvements of trails that will help add to Riverside Park. There's something called the Gateway Project, which will kind of beautify the area that gets you into Riverside Park. We were talking, you've been to Riverside Park, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Our concert series, which is another thing we try to do to bring entertainment to our community, and hopefully we're seeing more and more youth show up, so that's something that we're trying to do. So there's about 8 different projects, but those are some of the ones that you'll see probably come out of the gate the quickest.
I attended some of those summer concerts. A very great selection of music and everything.
Do you remember who you watched?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went to the very first one.
Okay, perfect.
Another question I have, and this might be the last question we have, is why are we renaming the community park?
I'll take that one. Community Park has always been a park that has been probably underutilized in our system, and so we knew that in order to get it to be to get people to participate in it more, we probably need to rethink the design of that park. In doing so, we came to the conclusion that we would obviously Community Park is kind of a generic name, and we wanted to in some way try to inspire conversation and education. So that hit on the topic of who do you name it after, and we chose a young lady named Carol Jenkins Davis. You wouldn't remember her because she was killed in 1969 selling encyclopedias in Martinsville, Indiana. She was a young African-American girl who was working at Philco Ford at the time in Connersville, trying to get money to go to college, and she wanted to be a school teacher at that time. But she ran into a situation in Martinsville where a gentleman passing through with a friend and a daughter in the vehicle decided that due to her race, that for whatever reason, how senseless it sounds to me, that he felt like that she wasn't worthy of living, I guess, and so at that point he got out and he killed her. And it was years and years, I think it was around 33 years, that they searched for her killer, and eventually did find the gentleman who killed her. And basically after they charged him with her murder, he lived 2 weeks and died of cancer in jail. But her family has been unbelievable. Her mother and her father they're no longer married, but they were unbelievably supportive through the years. And they very, very patiently waited for their daughter to receive justice, and she did. And so we thought that was probably a great opportunity for us to name it after a person who we felt like was deserving. We felt her family was deserving. But probably the thing above all of it is it gives just her name and her photo tied to that park, gives everyone an opportunity to have the conversation of who was Carol Jenkins Davis, what happened to her, why is a park named after her. And we think that it will inspire a lot of conversations about inclusion, diversity, how people need to treat each other, and the changing times that have happened from that time period in the late 60s till today. So that is why we've decided to redesign and change the name of Community Park.
Very, very interesting right there, and I think that's a wonderful idea. That's all we have for this community chat. Check back in for our next one.
Go Lions.
Go Lions.